the difference? What you see? Possibly the God in me. It's got to be God in me. They tired of me. So it leaves no excuses, apologies, but I'm probably proud of me. They hate me cause I'm a G. Little I when I OD like damn. But I'm going, his is a Sam. Going cause it's Sam. And I ain't shacking, no acting up, no acting tough. None is to be the same reason these niggas calling these passages just to back them up. Thought they was bad as cuffs until they show they bad as cuff. And all these niggas acting up. I bet you mad as duck your head one time. Get your prayers online. Every time I mention Christ, they be giving me all the signs. One sign, one sign, one. All I need is one sign, one sign, one sign, one sign, one. Gotta get it. One sign, one sign, one. All I need is one sign, one sign, one sign, one sign, one. Gotta get it. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Don Illuminati, back with another video. So today we're going to come out of Revelations chapter 18, okay? I want you guys to see what we're on the brink of. The reason that Trump and America is trying to do so many different things to get their finances together was because of this right here, right? It's because Revelations 18 chapter 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power. And the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great has fallen. It is fallen, and it has become the habitation of devils, and every hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all of the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through her abundance of her delicacies. You get that? The merchants of this earth are waxed rich through the abundance of Babylon's delicacies, which means the whole trading situation where we trade in and around the world and stuff like that, the economy and stuff like that, they have been relying on us to be merchants for a long time, and we've made other countries rich, right? And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye not be partakers of her sins. Right? He's asking you to come out of her sins. That's what he's asking, right? And that ye receive not of her plague. So if you come out of the sins that are Babylonian, right? That's how you're coming out of Babylon. Because Babylon is actually a spiritual realm. You come out of a spiritual realm, you have walked out of Babylon. Do you understand that? Right. Okay. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to the works in the cup which she has filled to her double. Now, who is he saying reward her even as she reward to you double, and double into her works? Well, it'll show you, but it's all the way down the scriptures. So we were in 6. So we're going to go show you who is doubling the works. Okay. Let's show you who's doubling the works. So we're scrolling down, and it's Revelations 18, chapter 18, verses 20, where it says, Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God has avenged you on her. So it looks like God avenged his what? Apostles and what? Prophets on who? Babylon. Which means, see, if there are apostles and prophets, Christ didn't come yet. So they have been avenged on Babylon, right? So now let's go back to 6 and finish. This is why I'm doing this. Because you have to see, you see what I'm saying? Because it didn't elaborate there. So I had to show you, because it's a whole bunch in between. You feel me? Then we're going to go backwards, because I want to make you see what I see. Okay? Listen, it's right here. But if you see it this way, you'll know. This is a long lesson. But you got to understand who y'all really waiting for. We're waiting for the Son of Man, who comes with the Spirit of Christ, right? Son of Man is going to be operating with the Spirit of Christ, but it's also going to be saints that's going to be operating with the Spirit of Christ as well, right? Because they're going to be reigning with Christ for 1,000 years. Okay, anyway, so let's go on. So when we stopped off, it said, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works in the cup which she hath filled double unto her, right? How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit as a queen, and I am no widow, and I shall see no sorrow. Who said that? Babylon. All these wicked people in their wicked ways. So, who is they telling you? It says, so how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously? So much torment and sorrow give her. Who is he telling to give her so much torment and sorrow? The person that he said to reward her double, right? And who was that? That was the apostles and the prophets. Remember? Before the coming, because they're still here, obviously. We're going to have to talk about that seal of God in 144,000 too, in which it's only mentioned in 2 places in the Bible. And I want you to get a better understanding of that as well. We got to get into it. That's what I'm trying to get through this a little quickly. So this is why I'm like more going to come with the word today. I'm just going to hold back on a lot of comments. Okay. All right. So here's where we go. We're in 9. Revelation chapter 18 verses 9. And the kings of the earth who committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Right? Stand afar for the fear of her torment. That means don't go near Babylon. Don't be nowhere near that spirit, right? Saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for 1 hour is thy judgment come. So the hour of judgment has not even came yet, right? Why? Because right here it says, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchants anymore. This is what they're afraid of. Their real business world is losing money. They can no longer punk the other countries and fund our $1 trillion deficit of debt income, right? Or pay back whatever the debt, right? So right now we are going to fall. But what's going to cause the fall? Remember, it was the fact that the Most High avenged his apostles, right? What caused the fall again? Let's go back, because I know how we like to forget. This is what caused the fall. This is why he's saying to rejoice over her, thou heaven. Who? The people of Christ. And ye holy apostles, right? Heaven, ye holy apostles, and the prophets, which are here, obviously. For God has avenged you on her, right? So, that is who caused the fall of Babylon. By repaying them double. Like I was saying so many months ago, we still got jobs to do. We got wars to fight. We got things to build. We got portals. We got famine to stock up. They're trying to explain to these people how the rapture, or a rapture in a sense, takes place. A rapture is technically to be picked up and placed out of harm's way, right? Now, God been showing me, and he told me some things, and he's been showing me these things, right? Okay. Because he has a wilderness stashed for those that he is going to keep in the way of in his protection, right? He told me before one time in the morning that he's protecting them with his garment, but the same part of some other parts of his garment is doing destruction. So I don't know what that can completely mean, right? But okay, so let's continue to go through. Okay, all right. So it also says the merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. See, the merchants of the earth, right? They were made rich by Babylon, by America. So now they're in the midst of getting ready to stand afar away from them. Why? Because it has fallen. Why? Because the Lord has avenged his prophets, right? And who else? The Lord has avenged his prophets and his apostles in heaven. He said, rejoice over her, thou heaven, comma, and ye holy apostles and prophets. For God himself had avenged you on her. That's what caused the fall. Y'all don't see this? Y'all still waiting for Christ. You have not caused a fall yet. Told you. I told you I was going to get this message together too, didn't I? I told you was going to help me with it. And all the other things that was in your way, including you thinking the return of Jesus, when we know that there's someone coming. Like I told you. Well, if you didn't know, well, before that, right, this is cool. I think we could probably let's finish this one last scripture here. Revelations chapter 18 and 23. We're going to continue with this one. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. In her and in her was found blood of prophets and of saints that were all slain upon the earth. Now, how did they get slain? When the Lord has avenged his prophets and apostles on them. Well, that was in the midst of the battle, the war. It was a war. The one from Isaiah 6, man. Remember before Isaiah 4:1, where y'all like to talk about on that day, she take a whole woman. Man, quiet with all that. All right? Y'all still didn't want to see what brings all this in. You got a job to do. We have a job to do, right? All right, keep playing with your ball. Now, let's go to where Jesus was speaking of this Son of Man as well, because I already went over that, but I got to go over it again since I had to add this, right? Okay. Now learn the parable of the fig tree, for which ye, the branch is yet tender, and putteth forth leaves. Ye know that summer is nigh. This is Jesus speaking in Matthew 24, verses 32. So likewise, ye, when ye shall see all of these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. See what things? Well, first of all, the fall of Babylon. See what I'm saying? Why? Because the prophets and saints is still there, dog, in heaven. Obviously pointing out that they are in the midst of the fall of Babylon because they the ones that called it. Because God has avenged his heaven, his holy apostles and prophets on Babylon. Right? And guess what the world did? They stood afar, watching her torment, wailing and weeping. You know, they wasn't with gnashing of teeth. That was the people that was here against us, the children and the chosen, right? Those chosen do happen to be the 144,000, which have the seal of God on their foreheads. The seal of God on their foreheads. Well, it's a special thing, okay? So just know, you know, I mean, we're hearing of rapture, we're hearing of this, that, and the third. You don't know that it's not all going to take place at one time, because this thing did not tell you. Because yes, it said, for he comes like a thief in the night. But did he say for everybody? No, he did not. And I can show you so many scriptures that I've been getting, and God is showing me that I don't think this is going to happen all at once. This is a season. Could be miraculous displacement of people. You feel me? They're going to be in the wilderness. Some people. Who's helping those people get into the wilderness, though, in the times when all this is happening? How are they finding their ways there? Well, we're going to get more into that. God told me he's going to allow me to know. But the instructions for now is to present these messages, including what Jesus is telling you also about the Son of Man that is coming out of the clouds of heaven. It looks like he's probably the first one that started saying this stuff, and then y'all picked up on it and started saying it was him. Just like y'all said that he was smiting his enemies and he was doing this and that and the third, and I done showed you every other scripture where it wasn't. And y'all keep putting that, because now they all only had, see, after I broke them all the way down, then they wanted to bring that terminology, Son of Man, to me. So then I took that and I broke that down for them too. You can't break nothing else down. That's it. So know this. We all know, and Jesus knows, that there's a Son of Man that's coming. Y'all, with this falsified doctrine, is going to fall by the sorceries, as it said at the end of Revelation chapter 18, for all nations were deceived, right? And I want to show you something else, right? Here it is, where Jesus says, but of that day and hour no man knoweth, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as of the days of Noah, so shall also the coming of Son of Man be, of the coming of the Son of Man. For as in the days where they stood before the flood, eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until that day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came, and then it took them all away. Right? So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Why didn't he say also shall be the coming of me, or also shall be the sign of my coming? Or, you understand? Listen. So I'm going to take you to another scripture, right? And then we're going to get to the 144,000. Sorry, but we're going to jump around a little bit. I gotta wake y'all up. Okay. Jeremiah 49 and 33. Jeremiah 49 and 33. And Hazor shall be a dwelling for dragons and a desolation forever. There shall no man abide there, nor any son of man dwell in it. Any son of man? Could it be one of the son of mans Jesus was just talking about too? Because y'all kept saying it was him. But why is he speaking of himself in the third person? Is he really doing that? Well, why does he keep really doing that? Why is he giving the power over the nations to someone else to rule with them with a rod of iron? Who did he give to rule over them with a rod of iron? Well, obviously heaven, the holy apostles, and the prophets. To do what? To cause the fall of Babylon. Bro. To execute the Lord's vengeance, like we just read again. I'll go back to Revelations, okay? Because people, they really like to get over it. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, ye holy apostles and prophets, for God has avenged you on her. And why? See, look, if we go backwards, now, this is where it says this. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God has avenged you on her. Now I'm going upwards. I'm going from 20 to 19. And they cast dust on their heads and cried and weeping, wailing, saying, Alas, alas, the great city were made of riches that has ships in the sea, for by reason of her coastlines, for in 1 hour she is made desolate. We're going to go up again. And cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? Going up to 17. For 1 hour, so great riches is ought to not. And every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood far off, going up and saying, Alas, alas, great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious and stones and pearls. And up the merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand far off of the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. That's saying, as they seeing this is going on, they choosing to stand back. You read it backwards. Read it frontwards. It tells me the same thing backwards though, because I already get it. I'm like, yo, I get what it's saying because you just giving me all the words. So I'm getting it, but how am I going to give it to them? Dog, the word is the word. You can read it from back. It don't matter what you're doing. I'm not taking anything out of context here. I literally went straight backwards and it still had a story for you, and it actually sounds exactly what's happening. Either way you want to put it, it's because the Lord avenged his prophets and his apostles on them, which are saints. It just didn't say that there. Why? If they doing all that, why are they not reigning with Christ for 1,000 years? But they are, because they are the saints. It's them. Those are saints as well, right? Because there's so many saints, but also blood and prophets of saints are going to be found slain in the midst as well too. Remember why? Because saints is like one of the people of God, like one of those ministers or apostles or someone who is in God's holiness, where He calls His holy ones, right? So it's somewhere around that area. Okay. So now, what do we want to go to? The 144,000, right? Excuse me. I wanted to talk about that 144,000 because the 144,000, it spoke about, here we go. Oh yes, it was Revelations 7 and 4, and then Revelations 14, 1 through 5. So let's go to Revelations 7 and 4. I tell you, this just wake you up, man. All right, Revelations 7 and 4. And it's crazy because even this message right here, it's almost like I feel like no matter what I say, what scriptures, I'm showing directly from the scriptures, dog. Stop making stuff up, y'all. It's time to see the real word. We knew that people was going to be deceived. Y'all niggas don't even need false prophets right now. Y'all got it all backwards. You can say I got it backwards because I just read it backwards, but trust me, that's not how I even got to that conclusion. I got to the conclusion by reading, understanding, and getting to the conclusion when they gave you the conclusion first, usually, right? Well, they give you it in both ways. It's just hard to explain. Anyway, Revelation 7 and 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed. Boom. You know what that means? The ones that got the seal of God on their foreheads. The ones that he told them not to touch. See, all the saints didn't have the seal of God on their forehead, obviously, right? Because remember, he told them to not to touch the ones with the seal of God on their forehead. On their forehead. So the blood of the prophets and of saints that were found slain in the midst of Babylon, they obviously didn't have the seal, which means they obviously wasn't the 144,000, which obviously means God has saints that are not a part of the 144,000 as well. And we getting any closer, y'all? Okay. All right. No wonder the Lord asked me what I preach his word like 20 years ago. I'm like, huh? Maybe he knew I would understand it this way now, but I wasn't even understanding but I knew that was him in my ear. I signed up for it. He immediately started speaking in my ear the whole time. He purposely did that, not allowing me to get scriptures because he didn't even want to get me confused with church too early in the game, dog. I tried it a little bit and I saw the persecution that came from the church, from me, in the vision God gave me. But now he gave me the word to match up to the vision he gave me, and I'm still getting backlash and tension from the church, right? They're very resistant to the truth, believe it or not. Y'all don't believe it because a lot of people think they holy. They all thinking they're getting ready to do this, that, and the third. So if you are being placed in the wilderness, that doesn't mean you got the seal of God on your forehead. That just means you're being placed out of harm's way, which is still a fraction. You understand? Christ's gonna help you out. That's on y'all. It's your business. You better get it right with the Most High and have that living word of spirit on you. Which that's why he said, come out of her, my people. Don't be partakers of her sin. Come out of the sins of Babylon. Right? Okay? You might beat yourself up for having little ass sins, this, that, and the third. They don't look like Babylonian sins. It's not it. You know the sins of Babylon. You should know at this point, we all got the spirit of discernment. Okay? The spirit is working inside of me. The spirit is always going to be with me. The spirit is already within me. So understand this. We will fall short of the glory of God every single day. And any man who say that he does not has committed a sin against God. If you say you are righteous, you are not righteous. You understand? So who thinks that he is right? Only the Lord is going to be able to decide who is righteous at the end of the day, right? And he'll tell you that a man that fell at 77 times 7, this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, you still can't call yourself that. You can't call yourself a prophet. You can't call yourself a saint. You can't call yourself any of these titles. Maybe an apostle or minister or, you know what I'm saying? But chosen ones and all this, that, and the third. Y'all confusing the people, okay? Because that's a very falsified message, okay? You got to understand that it is. Because the chosen ones that we're going to need to understand right now, because if you thinking you chosen and you out here getting harmed and hurt, and you thought you was that guy, you wasn't. You just wasn't. God didn't give you that. That's the people who actually were activating and operating through the Spirit of Christ. My man's, you know, I keep trying to tell you about. But see, a lot of y'all don't be understanding his word. So many will be deceived with the nations, and there will be blood of prophets and of saints found slain, and I can see that already. Because once this is done, right, we can go to Isaiah chapter 6. Let's show you what it looked like when it's finished. And you tell me if you didn't have the seal of God on your forehead, if you didn't end up in the mix of all this right here. Because I don't think anybody really want to be there. You hear me? Okay. Let's go. It's Isaiah chapter 6, verses 11. I was getting ready to give you another scripture, but I said, dang, that's going to make me do a whole new message on this. But this is that whole Isaiah talk, y'all. Okay? Y'all still know it's still the prophecy, right? These things come together. All these different prophets, they got different parts of the storyline and different things that are happening in the midst of it, right? Okay. All right. Then said I, Lord, how long? And then he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate. That's what you're talking about. If you didn't have a seal of God on your forehead, and you didn't get caught in his wilderness, if he didn't, let's per se, escape you, rapture you to the wilderness, or you didn't get your portal pass or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you, because you wasn't listening. So, when he said, then said I, Lord, how long? Who's I? Who's this person asking the Lord, how long? Well, if we go up to Isaiah 6 and, right, 5, then said I. This is the same person that said, then said I, woe. Woe said that. Who is woe? Man, I'm telling you, it's not his name. We know that how the Lord speaks, but that's just me joking. But that's what it says. Then said I, woe is me, for I am a man undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Mine eyes. He's seen the King. So, right? Then it says here in Isaiah chapter 6 in verses 8, also I, same guy, heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? Send where? Well, to pour upon, execute the vengeance upon Babylon. Remember the ones he was looking for to, we got to go back to Revelation for that, but it was Revelation 8, 18 and 20, where the heaven, the holy angels and the prophets, pretty much, he avenged them on Babylon, right? So this is who he's looking for. He's looking for his avengers right here. So he's asking, he can't even find his avengers. So he's like this. He said, also I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send? And whom will go for us? Then said I, here I am, send me. Who? The I nigga. Whoa. Who? One with the unclean lips. And he said, go. Just like that. Just like that. See, this man was going to run across a lot of Pharisees because they were going to think they were holier than thou. This man said he was undone before the Lord, and the Lord told him to go. Go and do what? He said, then said I, Lord, how long? And the Lord said, this is what? Until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without men, and the land be utterly desolate. Really? We can go on with this scripture, right? But I want y'all to see this. Isaiah chapter 3. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 3. The Bible's mixy. It's not a story like you reading it in a chapter book and it's just going to go from beginning to end and you're just going to understand everything. It don't go that way. All right? I just got to let you know, man, because y'all be tripping. Y'all be tripping, man. So y'all know the scripture where it starts off, and the Lord will enter into the judgments with the ancients of his people and the princes thereof, for ye have eaten up the vineyard, spoiled the poor. Right? For the daughters of Zion are haughty, walk with strapped north, next and blah, 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 right? I know I ain't trying to say blah, blah, blah. These are all different lessons, though. I'm trying to squeeze it into one understanding for you, okay? But at the end of that, all of that, right? And the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils, and it shall come to pass, instead of sweet smell, there shall be stinking, instead of girdle of rent, and instead of well-set hair, baldness, instead of stomach or girding of sackcloth, instead of burning, instead of beauty. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. It's not the last scripture. Everybody stop after they start talking about the burning and the sackcloth and the stomach girding. They never tell you how her men shall fall by the sword, by thy mighty in the war. Her men shall fall by the sword and thy mighty in the war. Right? Guess what else? And the houses was left without man, and the land being utterly desolate. Who do you suppose did that? Well, the one the Lord called on. To do what? Pour out the wrath on Babylon, causing that great fall. Causing the great fall. Should we go back to Revelations again? Yes, we are. I'm going to do it every time too, because I know how people just love to forget. When it said, rejoice over her, thou heaven, ye holy apostles and prophets, for God has avenged you on her. Or you mean this is how they fell? Her mighty men fell by thy sword and the mighty in the war? Because God has avenged who? His ye holy apostles and prophets on them, leaving it without inhabitant? Y'all ain't doing nothing here. Christ ain't coming till all this is Christ. That's what I've been trying to tell you the whole time, man. In the midst of that, there's a lot of things going on, including we received the Spirit and the power over the nations to get the job done? Who gave us that? Jesus said he gave it to him. Jesus said it, Revelations chapter 2, verse 26, where he said, endure to the end, overcome my work to the end. To him I will give to thee the power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. Is that how the houses was left without man? Is that how our men fell by thy sword and thy mighty in the war? They fell by that rod of iron? Because Jesus gave them the power to do it. Jesus gave them the power to do it. Jesus gave them the power to do it. Y'all ain't talking to me about nothing, man. Wake up, church, because you thought you was doing something. I told you. See, God set this up just like this. And you know why? Y'all love idolatry. And I'm going to just leave it at that. But you will not be able to. I promise you. My promises should be just as good as the Lord promises, unless I want to be dead. And I should be the same for you. Right? You should be living on the promises of God, unless you want to be dead. Because if you look at anything else in there, if you ain't getting the promises of God, you are dead. So, till next time, it's your boy Don Illuminati. Peace and love. Ain't no war outside. I don't believe it.